mock draft. I have all of the picks set up, so let's get into it. I am using Embrace the Pace draft class, so here we go. With the first overall pick, I believe the Celtics should take Markelle Fultz if they do not trade the pick, which I don't think they should, but best player available in the draft is Markelle, obviously. I think two to start out playing behind Isaiah, really just whatever you need him to be. But the odd man out probably would be Marcus Smart, so you have to find somewhere for him to go or play Markelle at the two. But I think he's a natural point. With the second pick, everybody knows this one. This one's got to be Lonzo. Lonzo is going to Lakers no matter what. Like the NBA, I wouldn't say they fixed it, but they fixed it. There's no way he's not going there. Another great point guard. I think him and D'Lo could play well with each other because Russell doesn't really want to be a point guard. He'd rather be a shooter. And Lonzo's more of a facilitator and get more assists. And that could really help that team, who is very young and promising. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The Philadelphia 76ers. I think they will move down in the draft, but I'm not doing any trades in this. I'm just doing the mock draft. So who I think should go to what team. And honestly, I think the 76ers should go ahead and draft Malik Monk. I think he is the best fit for the Sixers because they have Simmons, they have Embiid, they don't have much shooting. You could go with the point guard, but the two best ones are the France guy that can't, Frank, and none of those can shoot. I think Malik is your best option. He's a big-time scorer, and he'll be a wild card in this draft. And the reason I think that is because I believe the Suns have to draft Josh Jackson. They definitely don't need another guard. They got Bledsoe, they got Booker, they got Ulis for backup. They need someone to replace TJ Warren so that he can be a six-man or something, because there's no great big man in this draft, so you can't go with that. So Josh Jackson is going to be a complete player, great defense, and that's what you need for that team because they don't have much of it. So I don't think there's much question. If Josh Jackson falls to the Suns, they need to take him. With the fifth pick in the draft, the Sacramento Kings, they need to get a point guard. That's their first, and I think they'll go with De'Aaron Fox. So we're going to choose him. De'Aaron Fox, a great facilitator at Kentucky, played off of Malik Monk very well, hyper athletic, and a underrated defender, I believe. So just an all around good guard. Now with the Orlando Magic, this is where you need to get a star, and you need a scorer. You need somebody that can be a true star on that team, and I think that's Jason Tatum. I think they need to pick him up. They need something there because their 10 starters is not going to do it for them. With the 7th pick in the draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves. I completely messed that up. I am so sorry. The Minnesota Timberwolves. I think if Jonathan Isaac is still there, there's no way Tom Thibodeau's not taking him. He's a defensive guy. He's 6'10", small forward. I know Wiggins is there, but I mean they don't really have a power forward. They can plug him there. He can play the 3 or the 4. He's a two-way player, and I don't think Tibbs is gonna pass that up. Any defensive player he sees, he'll take. I know Chris Dunn was a bust last year. He's not really a bust. He hasn't developed yet. He didn't have a good rookie year, so maybe Jonathan Isaac can help him out. Not him, but help them out. The New York Knicks. The Knicks, they need a star. They need somebody to play with Porzingis. They need Carmelo out of there. They need a lot of things. They need Phil Jackson out of there. They could either go Dennis Smith or Frank. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. They're kind of the same player. But I think Dennis Smith has more potential. I think he could be the best player out of this draft in 15 years from now, and people just don't realize it yet. But I think the Knicks will go with Dennis Smith. So this leaves us with the Mavericks at pick 9, and Mavericks, they love their foreign players, which is why I think you should not go with the people everybody thinks you should, which is Lauri Markkanen, because they think he's the next Dirk. I don't see it. He's nowhere near his potential. I think they should go with Frank from France, because I cannot pronounce his last name. They need a point guard there. That would be him. It'd be Wesley Matthews or Seth Curry, either one. And then a playoff series, or even get to the playoffs maybe. But a decent team. Who are we on? The Kings again. The Kings, this is where the draft starts getting kind of because the Kings, they just drafted a point guard in Fox, so they have that. They have Buddy Hield. If Jonathan Isaac dropped this far, I think that would be their best fit if Timberwolves don't take him. But if not, they have Labissiere, they have Cauley-Stein, but I think you have to go with Lauri Markkanen, and it'll space the floor out. Labissiere, not a great three-point shooter, has shown signs. Cauley-Stein, don't even give him the ball outside the paint, because that's just going to be ugly. I think they go with him. They could go with Anunoby, but he's a big question mark with his injury, so he's kind of a hit or miss. The Charlotte Hornets, I think this is an easy pick. I think you go with Zach Collins, another tall white guy that can play with Frank Kaminsky and Cody Zeller. I think he's got an all-around game. A freshman from Gonzaga, which is not something you see with Gonzaga. I think he's going to be a great fit with them. Now, with the Pistons, the Nuggets, and the Heat, I think really any of them could take the biggest question in the draft, which is Harry Giles. And honestly, I'd like to see him go with the Nuggets just because they need to get a young player to start getting Fareed out of there. And I think either him or OG could be the best fit for them, because Gallinari is probably going to be gone after this year. Hopefully they don't re-sign him. Wilson Chandler's old. Get him out of there. Fareed, he's getting up there in age. He's not anything like he used to be. So either Anunoby or Giles could be their player. So I think it depends on. And I think the Pistons will take Harry Giles and bite on that bait and take him. They could take a player like Justin Jackson or somebody like that. I think Justin Jackson's overrated. I don't think he should be a lottery pick. I don't even think he should be in the mid-first round. He should be a late first, early second rounder. But that's just me. Now the Nuggets, since Pistons did draft Harry Giles, honestly, Donovan Mitchell's overrated too. I'm sorry, I just had to say that. Also, I'm a Kentucky fan, so Bam, come back to Kentucky because you're not going as high as you thought you would. Anyway, also, Jared Allen, a sleeper. He could go to any of these teams, but the Nuggets, they're going to pick Anunoby. just to get, because they have a solidified shooting guard position with Murray and Harris. Point guard Muye, a little iffy, but could develop into something nice. I think him or Giles is the best pick for them. And with the Heat, I'm only doing the lottery, so this is the last pick. Heat, honestly, they definitely don't need a big man because they have Whiteside, unless they get a power forward, which could have been Giles, but honestly, they could go with Mitchell. They could go Ferguson, who's overseas, so you don't really know what his game is. I would like to see him take John Collins. He's a power forward / center, or TJ Leaf. This draft class has TJ Leaf all the way down here, but I think he'd be a decent fit. But I think they'll end up taking Terrence Ferguson if he's there. So we're going to go with that. And that is the draft lottery for me. If you disagree or agree with any of my picks or who I think they should take, let me know in the comment section down below. And we'll just simulate the rest of this draft and see what happened. Edmund Summer from Xavier, a good pick. Not 15 good pick, but a decent pick. Then you got Bam to the Trailblazers. They could use another rebounder or somebody to replace whoever it is. They have a power forward. I don't even know. That's Al-Farouq Aminu, maybe? I don't know. Bucks, they need a point guard. I don't think. Pacers take John Collins. Not a bad pick for them. They need a lot of things. They need somebody to pair up with George and Turner. They need to get George out of there, honestly, because he's leaving the Lakers after next year when his contract expires. Peter Jock, he's a second rounder. I don't know why 2K put him so high up. Honestly, never heard of this guy. He just kind of sprung out of nowhere. Another guy would be TJ Leaf. Had a good rookie season at UCLA. The Thunder, they could use him. Sabonis, he played decent last year. Not great, not awful. So that'd be a decent pick. PJ Dozier, that's not a good pick for the Nets. They already have Karis LeVert, Isaiah Whitehead, and Ronda Hollis Jefferson. So they need another big man once Lopez leaves. I think that could be either Jared Allen or Hartenstein or maybe Ivan Robb. But Blossom Game for the Trailblazers, he's from Clemson. He kind of does a lot. He does a little bit of everything. He's a just all-around player. Jared Allen to the Magic. Magic, they just need to blow up the whole team because they have 10 starters for no reason. Ike, I'm just going to call him Ike because from UCLA, rebounding center. The Jazz probably don't need that because they have Gobert, but they could go after another power forward to take Derek's favorite spot when he leaves or retires or what, because he's old and he needs to be off the bench. And so does Boris Diaw. I think they could have went with Hartenstein there. That would have been a good pick. Raptors, I guess. The Nets, Isaiah Hicks, he's a second rounder, late second rounder, so don't like that. Donovan Mitchell, a decent backup, I guess. Frank Jackson, I would like to see the Spurs take Josh Hart from Villanova. I think he probably is the best fit for there. He's like the Malcolm Brogdon of this year's draft, or of last year's draft, Jonathan Motley, I think he'll go the second round. He'll be a good player to start out with for the second round for a team. Let's see if there's any sleepers. And Luke Kennard, I think he could go late first, and for any team and be a decent player. Justin Patton just can't grab a rebound. He's like a Al Horford, which is I don't know why the Celtics would take him. because he can't rebound. Averages like 6 a game. Ivan Rabb, I think he'll go in the first round. Dylan Brooks could fall to the second round, early second probably. Justin Jackson, he'll go mid to late first. So same with Josh Hart. Anything else? Williams Goss, good player. Thornwell, he'll probably only get drafted because he had a good end of the tournament run, and teams like the Kings, they watch that. But yeah, that's the draft for you. Subscribe for more. And until next time, peace.